Here's another example of how we can use the identities to solve problems involving the trigonometric functions. This question says rewrite f of x equals 4 cosecant squared of x plus 11 tangent squared of x in terms of cosine of x. And then you have a note that says expressions such as cosine squared of x must be entered in certain ways dictated by WebAssign. So you'll want to pay attention to that for WebAssign. I'm going to initially do the problem just the natural way we would do it, writing the notation as I did in the previous examples. Okay, so my first thought is if you want to get eventually to cosine, and you've got squares involved, it might be helpful to get to first an expression involving both sine and cosine using something up here, and then deal with the squares with the Pythagorean identity. So let's try this and see how this goes. Alright, so we have f of x equals 4 cosecant squared. So my first thought is, alright, cosecant squared can be written as the reciprocal of sine squared. And just a little side note here, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine and sine is the reciprocal of cosecant. Works both ways. And if you square a fraction, you square both the numerator and the denominator, and that's why we can convert to this notation. Okay, just as a side note in case you didn't understand that part. Then we have plus 11 times tangent squared. Okay, well, tangents, cotangents, reciprocal, so that doesn't immediately make me think of sine and cosine, but you do have this identity where tangent is related directly to sine over cosine. So let's try that. So it's tangent squared, so I'm going to square the numerator and square the denominator. So I'd have sine squared over cosine squared. And now stop for a moment, and you see that right now your function involves the sine function and the cosine function. And they seem to have squares. Okay, this is where this guy is going to come into play. If I want only the cosine function appearing, I can note again that the sine squared of x can be rewritten as 1 minus cosine squared of x. So I can take my f of x and now take any values that are sine squared of x and rewrite them with the Pythagorean identity relating sine squared and cosine squared. We weren't asked to simplify, we were just simply asked to rewrite. So as far as rewriting it, we've accomplished our mission. The only trig function that appears in that expression is the cosine function. Okay, now let's go here to WebAssign's notation. While this one works, I don't prefer that one because it makes me think that the x is squared, and that's not what's happening. So I would probably choose to do the following. But you may use anything that's valid in WebAssign as long as you understand what you're really saying. It's a little more tedious to type, but it's okay. Alright, because we mean literally the square of cosine in each of those terms. Okay, so again, another look at how to use the identities to rewrite in terms of a single trig function.